Introduce yourself if you like to, and start at the very beginning, what year it was that you got into veganism, and then how you got into it also, and how it unfolded. Yeah.
Okay. I'm Dylan Hunt, and originally I got into veganism at around 2015. Uh, Pretty much I actually was a heavy pot addict, and I wanted to get my tolerance down, and I heard about fasting, so I planned to only fast about 3 days, and it turned out I fasted 40 days.
Hmm.
And I was actually still smoking weed at the time, and I was getting phenomenal highs, and it was pretty awesome. But I could literally feel my body wither away, and I was only drinking Coles bottled water, and yeah, I became super skinny. And then I transitioned straight to like carnivore straight after it, like intuition. I was just eating raw salmon, um, but I was also incorporating like a small handful of leafy greens and some goji berries. But that was due to just like reading and saying like, oh, well, this is healthy, but I really just feel like salmon. So eventually I cut that out and I was eating like salmon, bacon, and eggs. And then about like late 2015, um, I was watching Frank Smart, which is a YouTuber who would talk about like ascension and all this other like spiritual stuff. And I was quite into the spirituality and spiritual side of things. And he was like, well, if you want to get to an optimal level mentally, physically, go vegan. And I would watch his videos every day just out of sheer interest. And I it kind of like planted a seed in my head. And I remember one day I was cooking bacon and eggs, and then I just went, I'm going vegan. And I walked up to my dad, who's Aboriginal, Australian Aboriginal, and he just kind of lost the plot. Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? We've been eating meat for centuries. It's in our blood. Like, you know this, Dylan. And it was like, yeah, I don't know, Dad. Like, I feel as though that I wasn't really given a choice from my childhood to if I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that. Little did I know, I was just brainwashing myself with constantly watching these videos. And I even said to myself at a certain point when I chose to become vegan, when I was transitioning to raw vegan, I was like, I'm going to deliberately brainwash myself into raw veganism because I don't believe it right now. So I would watch like John Rose, like Fit Geordie Eats, like plenty of other like raw vegans, fruitarians, and Dr. Robert Morse. Um, and it was quite a big jump actually because I was vegan for probably like 3 months. And I was like raw vegan for probably just under a year. And then I spent the next like 4 years being vegan. So nearly 6 years in total. And sorry, 4 years being fruitarian. And that's when I started traveling like Australia, looking for the fruits, and I was constantly lightheaded. Um, like I remember one day, there was this lemon tree, and I picked like a few kilos of lemons, and I literally sat there and ate them till my mouth fucking bled. Sorry about swearing. My mouth bled everywhere, and I'm like, it's detox, it's detox, it's detox. And then, and then I felt something in right here in my head after the 20 lemons, literally as if it just went, and it was as if I was having a stroke or something, and I was just like, I'm moving the lymph. I'm moving the lymph. Like John Rose said it, like Dr. Robert Moore said it, like all these other vegan cultists had said it. And yeah, I deliberately brainwashed myself into this. And then traveled up north of Australia to like Cairns, where like all the tropical fruit is and everything. And then that's when shit started like opening up. I started seeing how the fruit was man-made, how it was cultivated, how it was destroying people, literally. I was, because I was doing like a lot of masseuse work, massaging, like spiritual guidance, so just more so in the sense of not promoting veganism because I never felt good on it, so I never promoted it. But I just promoted like all the powers within oneself, holistic meditation, Tai Chi, and all of that sort of stuff. And then I met like this guy with cancer who had been a fruitarian for years and years, and he was a cyclist. He met durian rider. He was living with freely, like, and it all was just things were clicking and making sense. And it was like, I was like, well, this guy's been fruitarian for what, 15 years now, and he's only getting worse and worse. And he had like some really bad edema, like leg swelling. His teeth were rotted, like he had lack of energy. He was doing enemas, like 2 to 3 enemas a day. And we eventually were working in like a raw vegan restaurant together. And I was just like it was such a fucking sugar rush. Like we're sitting there picking at fruit, serving people, and it's just like, there's something not right here. I don't feel good physically. I just feel high all the time, and not like an enjoyable high, but just like a forceful high, like as if I'm trapped in something and how do I get out of it? And then I asked him one day, because I started dreaming about meat, dreaming about eating chicken and eating like beef, like raw beef, raw chicken. And that was when things were kind of like, what's going on here? And then this video came up, like online, and it's like, you're detoxing thoughts. Like you're detoxing the thoughts out of you because you're holding on to emotion, and the emotion of like mama's milk, or of like when you're a child, and having such an abusive childhood through like sexual abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse from, well, I don't want to say who, but like just received a lot of it. So I was very extremist and very sensitive, and I used to be very masculine, and then I watched myself become androgynous, then a female, and my hips sunk in and then spread out, and I was just like, what is going on? So then I was like, the food isn't optimal here or something. So I moved to Southeast Asia for 2.5 years, and then that's when shit clicked, because I was in a different environment with different people, and I got accepted into a village because I was helping homeless people. I was helping villagers. I was using my Australian money to support a village. I was doing a lot, and whenever I would like randomly check up on Australia or the fruitarians from like around the world, they're all getting really sick, but I'm watching all these people who are just thriving off meat. And some of them would eat raw meat or like raw fish and everything, like just raw fish and occasional rice. And the ones who ate rice got really sick, and the ones who just ate meat got really strong. And I was just deteriorating and deteriorating. And one day, I went to the markets and I decided, like, I'm just going to grab something cooked to eat. So I walked up and I was speaking Indonesian, and I asked this lady, is this like fish? And she said, no, it's sayur, which is vegetable. And I was like, bagus, luar biasa, like satu. So like, yeah, I'll have one. And she gave it to me, and I put it in my mouth, and I literally could taste the fish. And I was going on a balance of like mind, and I'm like, I could feel my body just like, holy shit, it's so good. But then like the cultist mind, I literally ran to the toilet, man, and I stuck my fingers down my throat, and I drank about like 5 liters of water, and I was like drinking and purging. And then I didn't actually realize that throughout the years of my fruitarianism, like, well, the vegan in total, my digestive system was completely just just destroyed. I couldn't digest anything. And then I became bulimic for about 2.5 years, every day, all day, whenever I'd eat something. And then the only thing I could digest was like, not even watermelon. I had to like chew the watermelon and then spit out the fiber. And I would do that with all the fruit. And then I was just like, maybe I've surpassed nutrition. Mate, so I went breatharian for like 3 months, and I've got photos of me as a breatharian, and my legs are literally just a bone, like there's no actual muscle. And I was teaching in schools like English, and I was helping like set up graduations for schools and like doing all of that. So I had, the whole love, peace, awesome, and it was like I was lost in delusion. It was messed up. And it goes even further than that. Then I started meeting other, like, fruitarians. They were like, oh man, you're just going through detox. Like, you just got to drink your urine, bro. Trust me. Drink urine. Drink the first urine of every morning. And so I was like, I'll give it a go. And so I remember the first time I did it, I was with 3 other fruitarians, and I went into the bathroom, I peed in a cup, I walked back out, and I'm like, alright guys, fucking whatever. And I drank it, and it literally just tasted like fruit. And it was like, yeah, I guess this ain't bad, like, whatever. And then one of my friends at the time was saying like, yeah man, like, in India, bro, that's where they do it, man. Like, they drink their urine in India. And I was like, oh, okay, man, like, I don't really want to just, like, drink my urine all day, like, for health. Like, if this is the only thing I can digest. And I would get the worst diarrhea. And then eventually I started binging so much on cooked food. Like, I would literally eat, like, as much watermelon or as much jackfruit or, like, fruit that any fucking fruit that I could force in my body, so it would build like a layer. And then like I would just literally spend the whole entire day in Southeast Asia just binging on cooked food, and a bit vegan cooked food, and I just couldn't find clarity. I did not feel good at all, and my ass was bleeding, my mouth was bleeding, like I lost teeth. There was, yeah, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And I would ask people, like, I was quite open about, like, myself and my diet, and I was like, something's not working. And they're like, yeah, you're not doing it right. And I'm like, I've gone through vegan, then it was like, this wasn't working. It worked for a bit, but then it stopped working. So then I went raw vegan. And that raw vegan was like the worst one. It was just like eating broccoli and cauliflower with like virgin olive oil. It was like I couldn't digest that at all. I remember, and it like didn't come out the other side. Like for about 4 days, I didn't poo for like 4 days at one point. And then I was like, all right. So I ate a heap of prunes, and then like that didn't come out either. And then I was like, what's going on? And then I was reading something from Dr. Robert Morse, and he's like, you need to dry fast. You need to dry fast. So I dry fasted, and then I eventually didn't have a bowel movement for nearly 2 weeks. And then like some random person was just like, nah, you need to eat 30 bananas a day and drink water. And I was like, this is just all like you need, and it was just constant cultism. Like everyone had like a different idea. Like there's the big house of it, but then all these people had little ideas, and then there's the big dude. And that was when I was raw vegan, then transitioned to fruitarian, and yeah, all of that, which I was saying before. But when I was in Southeast Asia, I started noticing like the government was promoting like veganism, like Miley Cyrus and vegan, like Beyonce started to go on vegan. And I was just kind of like, well, I know they're a part of like some bullshit puppet system, you know, with their lyrics and music, put time to focus on, like you incorporate into your life, and which is what I taught with people, like manifesting, getting into like your vibration, your and like Abraham Hicks and Alan Watts and all that. I very much followed them as like well, I enjoyed what they said, and I took it on to be my truth as well, which helped me actually a lot, because when I looked over and seen all this worldly change into like vegan, vegetarianism, promoting plants, like the anti-nutrients and everything, I was just like, holy shit. Like the reason why we went fruitarian was because we knew that the plants don't want to be eaten when like you notice yourself too, like they release a protein and shit and it messes up your whole body. And so that's why people go fruitarian. And then it was literally like, well, what's going on? Why is all this happening? And then I just started noticing like vegans dropping like flies. Ex-vegan, ex-vegan that. Like Casey, Vegetable Police. I had been following him for a while and contacted him. Also, Bobby, from Bobby's Perspective. I've been following him, contacted him. And do you know Cole Robinson? Snake Diet?
Right.
Yeah, I also had been messaging and contacting him as well, and just like general questions and stuff, and like just swapping information and stuff. And then things kind of got down to a point where I messaged Frank Tofano, and I was just like, "Hey, what's going on, man? Like all this stuff." But even Frank doesn't look healthy. He looks like dehydrated. Well, to me, he looks quite dehydrated. He's black under the eyes, but I think it's explained it in a bit. But
It also comes from sodomy. If you've been sodomized as a child, it's very typical.
oh, okay, yeah. Um, so all of this was happening, and I, I was lost in this cultist mindset, and I was unsure of what I wanted to do or what I should do. And then I was living in a forest at one point, like climbing fruit trees. I camped on the beach. Um, like I was in a forest, and I lived for 3 months in a forest, just climbing trees, eating fruit, getting malnourished. Then I went to a beach, did like a 3-day coconut fast, and smoked DMT, and it was just like the profound experiences, but it's quite literally like the only thing stopping you is your own fear. And it's just like, it seemed so profound to me at the time, like, whoa, man, like I'm the only thing stopping me. And it's just like, I didn't need anyone to kind of tell me that, or any like substance to tell me that. And I was on just a huge wild journey of like always running away, always going to a different country, always meeting new people. But in the experience, it was fun to meet new people, but it was very eye-opening to see how malnourished everyone was and how sick everyone was and how weak and fragile. Like one of my friends, Sasha, we went to a waterfall, and she went down like one of the natural like slides, and she like jumped, and then it like hit her back, and it didn't even look that bad, to be honest. But then her whole body was just fucking destroyed, and she had to like fast for like 4 days, because she's like, well, she didn't have to, but she was just like, I need to fast to heal my body, and I'm so sore. And then she was like begging for durian, and durian is like, do you know the durian fruit? It's very high fatty fruit. Well, not really high fat, it's more carbohydrate than fat, but anyway, she was just begging and craving that. And one of my friends, which I won't say her name actually, but she became so obsessed with me. And she was like 44 years old, the same age as my mother. and she was literally just like so obsessed. I wasn't allowed to go anywhere or do anything without her. Like if I wanted to go to the fruit market, she had to be there. If I wanted to do this, she had to be there. So I literally left the country, and then she fucking followed me to the other country. And it was just like, oh man, like so needy, so needy. But then I noticed like, how have you survived 15 years on a fruitarian diet? How? Like, this shit doesn't make sense. Like, you're either having animal products, and this is my intuition speaking. Like, you're either having animal products, you're either supplementing, or you're either having cooked food or something not in front of people. And she was doing like marathons, half marathons. She was always running from like everywhere. And yeah, and then I noticed other vegans, like I had like other vegans like secretly tell me that they ate like, 3 4 times a year or something. They would have a steak with their family to make the family happy. And it's just kind of like, yeah, whatever, mate, whatever. Like, and then other people were taking like fish oil tablets or like creatine or like all these animal supplements. And I was going balls deep, hardcore into this veganism. So like I wasn't messing around. Like I went straight into it. And that's how I became so malnourished. And even before that, I was doing like keto vegan, and that was even worse. That was so much worse. And it just went on for so long, to a certain point where I was looking after one of my friend's places in Kuranda, Queensland. And I ran out of fruit, and everything shut, and I'm at the top of this mountain. So if I wanted to get fruit, I would have to like travel 30 kilometers into town, or I would have to try and forage for myself. But the thing was, it was not like, there were only mango trees. And the thing was, it wasn't mango season just yet. So all of the fruit was astringent and like not ripe. So I literally had no food. And I opened up her fridge, and there was literally steaks like stacked up. There was like beef mince, lamb mince, and I just like, I literally went like, like fuck it. I feel that terrible. I can't move. I've done like that many enemas today. Like I always thought there was something inside my bowels, even though I would do like 5-day dry fasts or like a 2-week water fast or juice fasts and everything. And so I like got this steak, and I remember cooking it, and my intuition was saying like, don't cook it. You're not going to be able to digest it. And so like I just did like 30 seconds each side, and I was like, all right, like whatever. So I took like a little bite, and there was just instant clarity. Like I literally had never felt like all this buzz and haze for years. I didn't actually realize my body was numb, and I could feel my tongue, and I could feel like myself. Like I could feel like my tingles of my skin, and I was just like, what? Like what's going on? And I was like, I don't know what's going on. Like I literally didn't know what was going on, but the only thing there was steaks and like bones and stuff. So I made like bone broths, and I was just sipping on that. But the thing was, I wasn't eating much fat. It was just all muscle meat. So I eventually got constipated, and because I was cooking it as well. And then I went down to Cairns after that, because like I literally dropped one day, like because after I was eating the meat, I got constipated, I did an enema, and then I fainted. I woke up, and one of my friends, like I called him, and I was crying and in delusion. And I'm like, man, I ate meat. Like, I don't know what the fuck is going on in my life? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going. Like, I'm in such a haze. Like, please help me, please. So he like drove all up the mountain and he picked me up and he took me into town. And then I stayed at his place for like 2 weeks, but I then continued the fruit diet. And then I got even worse, even worse. And then I was at one of my friends' places, Frank, and I was staying at his place. And I made myself a coffee because I'm like, I'm just going to try and let go of all diet and just eat whatever I feel. And little did I actually realize I was that addicted to sugar. I was putting that much like sugar in the coffee and like it was ridiculous, like ridiculous. And then like literally I looked down and then my legs were just like elephantitis sort of stuff. I was like, what the what? Like what? And then I could feel like something in my kidney and I was just like, Frank, can you take me to the hospital, please? Please. And then he took me to the hospital and I'm like 30 kilos and I've got like legs the size of like my arm, like now. They were so huge. Like I could literally push my finger in like that and it would stick in like, and it would stay there. And I would literally like, I could mold my own leg.
Mm.
And I was just like, what's going on? Like, what's going on? And then the doctors literally said like, you're gonna die, like you're going to die. And I was just like, no, like, and then they called my parents and my parents were at the very bottom of Australia and I was at the very top. So it would have taken them about 4 or 5 days to drive up. And they said like, I would probably die in like the next day or two because my kidney shut down. And then they were like trying to flush my kidney and they were injecting stuff into me and like, and then I peed. I remember peeing for like a solid 3 minutes at one time. And it was just green liquid just coming out and out and out. And the swelling went down a little bit. Apparently I put on 15 kilos in a couple hours. Like it was just this weird stuff, like literally weird, as if like my whole body fluid just dropped to my legs. And then something just said to me, eat, eat chicken and butter. Just eat chicken and butter. And they literally said to me, I could eat anything I want because like you're not gonna live that long. So I said to them, just get me plain chicken and butter. So they did that. And I put myself in like ketosis. I was eating lots of fat, like lots of saturated fat, with a little bit of like protein. And 2 days I got off life support and then I discharged myself out of hospital. And I went straight to the butcher and I bought like $30 worth of raw beef. And I literally sat out front of the butchers and ate the raw meat. And everyone was staring at me and I was just like, I don't care, man. I'm feeling this nutrients. I'm feeling it. And one of my friends, he's a very like godly person and he's just like, yeah, brother. Yeah. Get that in ya. Get that meat in ya. And it was so funny. His name's Max. And we went on quite a journey together, like helping homeless people off the street, bringing kids off the street and putting them in like either homes or trying to get them like the Australian welfare, also supplying them with food and like all of that sort of stuff. And yeah, he was just like, get the meat in you, man, get the meat in. And my body just could not digest, like it could digest little bits, but not so much. So then, like, I was watching like one of Frank's videos, and he's like, "You gotta have salt. You gotta put salt on your meat." And I just didn't intuitively feel that, but I did it anyway. And then the edema popped out again, and I started swelling up again, and all this like shit was happening. And then, like, I kept trying to eat meat, but I just couldn't digest it. So I literally went like So I can't do fruitarian. I can't do carnivore. I'm just gonna fucking binge eat on coffee, cakes, cigarettes, like drink alcohol. I'm literally gonna do anything, whatever it is, to fucking end this body. Just end it. And I put on 30 kilos. Like I was 30 kilos and then I was 70 kilos in a matter of like um 2 months. 2 months I put on 30 kilos. And then I was just bloated all the time. I couldn't sleep. I was suicidal. I was dehydrated. And I was just like, all right, I'm going to do a 10-day water fast. And if this doesn't work, I'm literally just going to kill myself. And then I lasted 1 day on a water fast. And then it was literally as if like my body just like picked me up, took me to the butcher's, grabbed the rump steak, I've got some fat, like, and then I went home, ate it, and I had the best sleep of my life. Like, my whole clarity just came back. And today is like my 8th day proper carnivore, and I've stayed at around 68, 70 kilos, but I've lost that much like water weight, water retention. I've lost a lot of belly fat and leg fat. And I've put on a lot of muscle, and I've just been doing calisthenics. I don't want to overdo it because, in truth, I much would rather longevity, and I don't want to crank my heart too much and age myself. But I also want to see how far I can go and how far I can build myself up to a point where I can just be like sedentary and relax and chill. So, yeah. Huge journey up until now, and even like yesterday I ate like a raw heart, like because I've been doing like live videos promoting the carnivore diet, like raw carnivore, and I've literally had thousands of vegans comment and message me and like abuse me, and I'm literally laughing at this because I'm watching them deteriorate whilst I'm getting stronger. And it's just like, they're saying like, you're going to end up in hospital, you're getting bacteria, you're going to die. And it's like, man, I hope I get this bacteria. I want my stomach to readjust itself. I want this bacteria. And then they're saying like, you'll get worms. And it's like, I don't see any worms in this fucking steak, man. Like, you know, and it's like, they're so lost in delusion. Like so lost in cultism, in dogma, delusion, and they're saying like you need to return back to the like a vegan way. It's like, please understand, Dylan, vegans need to supplement. And it's like, I don't want to support the big pharma. I don't want to be a drug addict. I don't want to have to take all these white powders every day with this and that to activate this, to do this and drink my urine. It's like, I'd rather just go to my local butcher that slaughters the cow from that morning, chops it up, puts it right on my plate. And it's like, I can literally walk in, buy a steak, walk out, sit at the front, have something to eat, crack a raw egg, and I'm trying to source some raw milk at the moment. It's like, but it's illegal in Australia. So it's just like, I'm looking around and sourcing, and I know I'll find it. I know I will, because there's lots of farms all around here. And it gets me to a point where I just want to, like, I want to skits out, like, start swearing and screaming and yelling. But I've spent many years just, like, meditating, relaxing, living in temples on this bullshit fruitarian vegan diet that led me to my fucking deathbed. And I took myself out of it. My intuition kicked in and I started eating carnivore. All I honestly feel like is just raw food, like raw beef, like raw liver, like raw kidney, brains, testicles. Like, that's all I actually feel like. And yeah, it's quite a weird experience for myself, because I start getting watery at the mouth, and I can feel like my body getting all like, whew, whew. Yeah, there's some good shit, man. Like, and I'm constantly walking past the butchers and like giving it the eyeball up and down, and like, like I just want to go in there and like, like, oh, it gets me so pumped, like feeling alive and the nutrients and like, oh my God. And watching your videos has helped me so much from literally a little fruit bitch, a little skinny ass fruit bitch into like now I feel like not good lighting, but like I've doubled my, like nearly tripled my arm size in such a short time. Like my strength is so rapidly adjusting and becoming so much better. And yeah, I have a huge thanks to you. Honestly, like you've helped a lot of people, including myself, and it's inspired many, including myself, to continue with this and not in a dogmatic bullshit cultist way. It's like my father's Aboriginal and my mum is German. And it's just kind of like they're both heavy meat eaters. Like my the Aboriginals have only been like changed within the past like 250, 300 years. So it's just like in essence of like hereditary, it's like I'm like the fourth or fifth generation away from being like a traditional Aboriginal. And then like with German, like you know, Germans are always eating meat. They're always doing, like, Scandinavians are always doing that. They thrive off it. Just any race thrives off it.
Mm. Do you have any other experiences that you remember, like at with the lemon tree or something crazy like that that you went through?
I did 3 months mono watermelon. I did 5 months mono mango. I literally traveled half of Australia, like up the East Coast, only eating mangoes. And I would literally, because I couldn't afford it, I would grab like a heap of bags and I would go into like the supermarket and I would just fucking like grab as many mangoes as I could. And then I would like waddle out of the shop, man. But I was that hazy and skinny and lightheaded. Like I remember one time this security guard seen me and he literally let me go. And I was just like, yeah, like the universe is looking after me, higher vibration, fruit bitch. But then I didn't realize I'm this little 40 kilo skinny friggin' anorexic person stealing fruit. Like, what, you know, this guy's like, yeah, this motherfucker needs to eat. It's like, and I only just realized that like not too long ago that every time I was like seen stealing shit, like they would literally let me go. I remember going into fruit markets and I'm just like literally like so skinny and anorexic, and they would like give me more fruit and more fruit and more fruit, and then they would give me like rice, or they'll give me beans, or they'll give me like heaps of avocados and stuff, and then they would like, yeah, eat, and I'm like, nah, I'll just stick with like these mangoes. Like I'll just eat 20 to 30 mangoes in one sitting. I'll be fine. And yeah, I remember when I was in Singapore, when I landed, the first fucking thing I did was go and look for durian and champidat. And then when I did that, I remember it was 3 o'clock in the morning. Like I could have just walked to my friend's house and like jumped in bed and, you know, like slept. But I was out on the street looking for sugar. And then like I finally found it. And I remember I took a picture. I was like, had my phone out like this, and I had like the fruit in my hand, and I took a bite out of it. And when I did that, my tooth broke off.
Wow.
Like I chipped my tooth, and I was like, what? Like, this is such a soft fruit. Like, how did this happen? And then like the next day, this tooth was in so much pain. I literally grabbed pliers, like scepters, and then I went to like rip it out, but it shattered in my mouth, and then it exploded, and then all the shards just went all through my lips and tongue and everything. Wow. And then I bled for days. Like it didn't heal. I wasn't healing. another time in Bali, um, like, uh, I went to the fruit market and like I was talking to this one of the ladies, and I bought like 5 kilos of like these little mandarins, like juruk, and she gave me 20 kilos in total. So she gave me another 15 kilos for free, and she's like, eat, like makan, makan. And then I was just like, oh yeah, fucking high vibration fruit, bitch. Like I'm God, man. I manifest this world in reality. You know, let me get my notepad out and write, thank you, universe. Thank you for the free food. Thank you for this. And then like I went home and it took me like 4 hours to juice them. And then once I did that, man, I was so lightheaded. I'm like, and then guess what? The whole village thought I juiced all of that for them. So they drank the juice. And I didn't, I got like 200 mil out of it. And I was planning to drink like fucking 5 liters of it. And so, yeah, like that happened. And it was just like, so I got like 20 kilos of mandarins. Took me like 4 hours to juice them. Then the whole village was like, oh, like terima kasih Dylan. Like, oh, minum, which is like to drink in Indonesian. And yeah, they drank my fucking drink. And I was just like, like, so I went back to the market and I bought this papaya, and this papaya was literally like the size of my chest. So, and I was like, this time I'm going to go down the beach. I'm going to go down the beach and eat it. And this Indonesian come up to me and he sat down and he's like, hello, lady. Hello, beautiful lady. Beautiful lady. Where are you from? And I'm just like, no, mate, I'm a guy. But my voice was so bitchy. Like, he didn't believe me. He thought I was a flat-chested girl, like eating papaya on the beach, like trying to be all sexy. And it's just like, man. And then I ate the papaya, but I was that annoyed with him at the same time while I was eating this papaya. I like jumped on my bike, and I literally was like cruising, and I just went, and, like just spewed all along the side of the road. And then like all these Indonesians were just like, oh, sakit? Anda sakit? Like, are you sick? You're sick? And it's just like, tidak, saya hanya makan buah, which means like, no, like, I only eat fruit. Like, I can't be sick. Like, and they're just like, yeah. And I remember, one of my friends, like, I literally, when I was staying at my friend's place, like, he was Indonesian and his mum, she literally watched me eat, like 6 kilos of fruit. Literally 6 kilos. And she like, it didn't incorporate in her mind that I had food. I was just having a snack. And then she kept offering me chicken. Like, she just kept saying, like, please, eat this chicken, please. Like, and then eventually, like, one day, I remember, it was probably, like, 3 in the morning, and I was just cruising on my bike in Indonesia. I couldn't sleep. I think I went, like, 5 days without any sleep. And this is something I've actually never told anyone. So I'm going to open up and tell now. Like, this is the first time I've ever cheated on my diet. And I was literally like, I've tried every single vegan dish in Indonesia, like in Bali, in most of Indonesia. Like, it's shit. It makes me feel disgusting. And I was just like, I'm going to try some chicken. I'm going to try some fish. And this is what really kind of messed up with my head. I went down and I had like some lightly cooked like chicken and fish and like also milk. Like there were like some, I actually don't know if it was raw milk because like it comes from their farm. So it very might have been raw milk. But I ate the stuff and then I felt so like bad. So I forced myself to vomit. But then when I woke up the next day, I literally woke up like with a fucking hard dick and like I felt so powerful and strong and good, and like I was just like, wow, what is this? Like I actually didn't put two and two together that the night
Mm.
before I binged ate on animal products, and then like the next day, like I just didn't put two and two together, and I was just like, what's going on? You know, like is the moon like has the moon shifted into the new retrograde or something? Like have I like ascended some sort of power of intuition of meditation? Like the delusions you go through, and I spent so long in isolation. It was just like I watched myself deteriorate, watched the village get strong, watched Fruitarians drop like flies. Like we even had like a few people die, like get so sick they died, and it was just like, well, I don't understand. Like he was Fruitarian, like I don't understand. Like what was it? And they're like, oh, cancer, and it's just like, nah, you can't get cancer eating fruit. You can't. And it's like sugar feeds feeds that stuff, and it's just like eh, I don't know how I came out of it, to be honest. Like, well, I do. I was hospitalized and my intuition kicked in, but from like the first month, I was thinking about meat. I was thinking about cheese. I was thinking about stuff, and I'm like, no, I'm just gonna let it go. And then after a year, I was dreaming about it. Then the second year, I was like, I was walking past shops and I could smell it so much, and it would like I would start getting tingly, and like my mouth would get watery, and my nostrils would flare, and it was just kind of like I'm detoxing thoughts and emotions, and then it kept going and going and going to eventually where like if I just actually listened to my fucking body, like none of this shit would have happened. But you know, this stuff happens for a reason. Realistically, like we've been through this vegan propaganda bullshit, and we're able to help people now. We're able to do things and like see the lies and see the government is actually like it 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 just clicked when it was like when the government started pushing veganism. It was just like, yeah, that's pretty messed up, man. Like, what's going on here?
How long were you into the juicing when you couldn't digest the fiber when you were spitting it out? Like you said with
At
the
least
watermelon, did you just spit out the
yeah, yeah, like say when I was in Indonesia was when I actually started doing it, but I came back to Australia, so at least a year and a half, I was just juicing it in my mouth and then spitting it out.
That's so crazy. Do you remember anything else like that that has to do with
Oh
that?
man, I was like climbing a coconut tree and I was so weak, man. Like, and I finally got up to this coconut tree and like I couldn't even like I couldn't reach any coconuts. Like I was like just on the pinnacle of it, and then I like got a stick and knocked one coconut off. And then I was like, how am I gonna get down this tree? I'm too weak. Like I actually said to myself, I'm too physically weak right now to get down this tree. So I was stuck in this tree, man. And this is something I haven't told anyone. Like I was stuck in a tree for like a few hours, and then there's like coconuts here and coconuts down there, and I was so thirsty, man. I was so thirsty, and I'm just like, what am I gonna do? Oh. So I literally just slid down, and I like cut all my arms and my chest and my legs, and then I like got down, and then I had nothing to open the coconut with.
Right.
Yeah, and so I eventually just fasted, but then like I got really bad infections, and then I remember I took a shit in the forest, man, and I wiped my ass with a leaf, and then my ass got that swollen and infected, man. Like every time I went to, like I've got photos of my ass, man, and like the ringhole, like the hole, man, had this huge huge thing on it, man, like a cyst or some shit, dude. And and it took like a solid few months to like get rid of. And there's like other times where like I've climbed like jackfruit trees, and there was this one jackfruit tree, like Nangka jackfruit, and I was like, wow, there's so many, like they're all ripe and they're all delicious, like wow. And I climbed up the tree, and like they all like fell down and everything because I twisted them down. But then when I ate them, they had no flavor. Like it was just a dead tree that grew fruit.
Hmm.
Another time, like I ate like this huge salad, man. Like the bowl was literally like the size of my chest. And I like was eating it, and I literally just couldn't feel like it was inside my stomach. So then like I went to like my friend's shop, and then I like binge ate there, and then I went to like the supermarket, bought a heap of stuff, and like binge ate that, and then I like was like power spewing like all night, and then like my lips split so far. Like I've got pictures as well of my my lips. Like I had like literally like a pinky nail of like split like that. So it's that dehydrated, and the acids and the lemons. Oh, another thing too, I would put lemon or lime on everything I ate almost. Like I'd cut open a watermelon, and then like I'd squeeze lemon or lime on it, and then I'd eat that, and I could literally feel it burning my mouth. Another time, I mono-mealed, I mono-mealed like 6 kilos of kiwi fruit, and with the skin on, because, you know, the skin has the nutrients, and man, I was that nauseous, and there was blood everywhere in my mouth, and my tongue, like, I couldn't eat for 4 days. Like, I was like, all right, I'll just, you know, like, I'll eat 1 kiwi at a time, and just like, so after the 4 days of my mouth just being completely like with the kiwi, like I tried continuing kiwis, and then I tried doing a grape juice, like monoing grapes, and this is I monoed like 4 kilos of grapes, and I stood up, and I was like, yeah, this ain't too bad, and I took like a couple steps, and I was like, and I just kept going and going and going and going and going and going, and I was like, what? Like, how does the stomach hold all this? Like, how are you meant to digest this? Like, Dr. Robert Morse, man, like, what's going on here? Like, this is not making sense to me anymore. Man, like, I would literally, like, go back like this, man, fucking enema and everything, and, like I couldn't buy an enema because they wouldn't let me. They literally wouldn't let me at the chemist buy an enema. So I grabbed like a Coca-Cola bottle, cut off the top, grabbed like castor oil, poured it all in, man, poured with water, poured with salt, drained it into my ass, and then like, you know, just kept pouring the water in, and I put like a few liters in. Then I like stood up, man, and then like nothing came out of my ass apart from the liquid. And it's just like, well, I gotta go harder. I gotta do a salt flush. So then I drank like 3 liters of water with like you know those twisty salt things. I put like half of the salt in there, like so it would just fucking like smash through my bowels, man. And it smashed through my bowels, all right. Like I pretty much like lost consciousness almost, like drinking that much water with salt, and then like I was so dehydrated, so I went and bought like I went to a farm, man, and I bought like 100 kilos of watermelon. Like I had that many watermelons, man, and I was like, this is the only thing I can eat, and like. And I was so like fearful that someone would come and like want some of my watermelon, man. Like, so I isolated myself so no one could get my watermelon. Like, I remember like someone asked for like a watermelon and everything, and I was just like I could feel my heart sink, and I'm like, this is the only thing I can digest and eat. and I don't even eat the fiber. I just drink the juice. Like, what am I gonna do, man? Like he just wants one square. But what if I need that one square? What if I need that one square? What if I need that one square? So I'll go like, oh, oh, yeah, man. Oh man, like, like I, this is my diet. Like, man. Like, I really need the nutrients right now. Like. And they're just like, man, I just want one square. I'm like, yeah, I don't know, man. And then I remember, like, I took one of my friends to, like, the fruit market, and we bought, like, this huge box of mangoes, man. And then, like, we were sitting down eating mangoes, and I was watching him eat the mangoes, even though he bought, like, these mangoes. But in my mind, I was like, I fucking want those mangoes, man. Like, I actually need them more than you. Like, and he's just like, he's only eating like one or two mangoes because he literally lived like, like a regular diet, like bread, milk, cheese, like sandwich sort of shit. So he just wanted like one or two mangoes. And I was just like, yeah, I need them, man. Like, you don't understand. Like this. And I became so like, just messed up, man. Like, I remember going, like, sourcing out the fruit, and it was like, yeah, well, where did the fruit come from? All right, where was the fruit originated from? Like, it's just like, so the fruit originally came from Asia. So this fruit isn't even Australian. So I have to go to Asia now. So I have to go to Asia to actually get the proper source of the fucking fruit that you brought over to this country and planted in this soil? Really? So now I have to go to Asia. So I went to Asia. And then they were like, yeah, like, we've been cultivating this for, like, the past 100 years or something. And it was like, when I actually tried to eat, like, wild fruit, it's like their seeds were huge, it was bitter, it didn't taste good.
Right.
Like, it was just, yeah, mind-boggling stuff.
Did you at all use any supplements in the whole time?
Actually, I didn't until the very end. When I was hospitalized, like after I went, like, did the keto and everything and got back out. But then I went back to fruit. Like, I went back to fruit for a little bit, and I took like vitamins and some other things. But when I took them, I literally felt like just destroyed. Like, it felt like it worsened me. So I just stopped taking them straight away. And then they wanted me to take antibiotics. And I'm just like, I don't think my body can handle antibiotics right now. So, like, yeah, well, you're gonna have to take them. So I took these antibiotics, and then it was just like my digestive system just shut down. Boom, it just stopped. And I couldn't digest anything anymore. And I couldn't fast either because I was so skinny. Like, I didn't know what I was gonna do. So then, like, I stopped taking the antibiotics. I allowed my body to I literally just kept with, like, binging on, like, muffins and coffees and cake and things like that. And I would vomit. Like, I literally eat it. Then I'd, go for a walk or something. Then I'd spew, like, vomit everywhere. Then I'd do it again, vomit, do it again, vomit. And then it was just, like, at a certain point, I was like, I'm addicted to sugar. I admit it. I admit it. I'm addicted to this. So then I was like, all right, it's time to man up. It's time to go. It's time to actually do this. Like, let's just do it. And then I went out, got some raw steak, and I ate it. And so I got, like, raw liver, raw kidney, and just a bit of rump steak. And I started off just a bit small, but I ate mostly, like, the liver and kidney. And when I ate it, it was like, whoa. And, like, nobody believed me that it tasted good. Like, everyone's just like, like, how disgusting. And I'm like, I wish you could understand how good this tastes. Like, it tastes so good raw. Like, and I started drinking, like trying to squeeze, like, the blood and everything out of it and drinking the blood. And actually, one funny story was I was at the Indonesian markets, and like they've got like sections of where the fruit is and where the meat is and then where the fish are and stuff. And I would always see this red liquid like in this like cup or bowl, and there was heaps of them around like the chickens. And I would see it for like months and months, and I was so attracted to it, like the smell of it, like the look of it. And like I'm fruitarian at the time, and I walked up to the lady and I'm like, apa itu, which means like, what is this? And she's like, she's like duck's blood. And I, in my head, I was just like, I want to drink that. And I was just like, my body was like, I want to drink that. And then I like clicked back and I'm like, what the fuck? What the hell did I just say or like think? Like, I literally wanted to like ask you if she was selling it. And I was like, literally just wanted to drink it. Like, it looked safe. It looked so nice. It smelled nice. Like, I'm getting like a watery tongue thinking about it now. Like, oh, ooh. But yeah, it's
One question,
yeah.
how do you see the future of veganism now after all of this? Where do you think it's heading?
Um, where do I think veganism is heading? I think a lot of people are gonna either get sick, extremely sick. I think people are gonna die. I think the child abuse. It's because they. I lived with a few vegans and they've had children, and it took them so much to conceive a child. But then they feed the baby fruit, and this baby's eyes are fucking going cross-eyed and like, like, and it's just like the torture, man, the torture. Like, but like, it's funny, but it's not. But it's funny, and it's just like I'm watching this little baby fucking like high on sugar, man. Like, like, and it's just like, man. And then it's like they're eating lemons and stuff, and it's just like, oh my god. And like, I even have like still a huge following of vegans from like when I was doing what I was doing over around the world and shit. Like all these vegans are now bashing like my name. Like they're literally like getting pictures of me and putting on my face like animal abuser, like animal rapist, and like I love to do this. And it's just like I've never killed an animal, man. Like I would. Like if I seen an animal and like if fucking looked at me strange, man, and I was hungry, like I would do it. Like, but like I want to get back into that core aspect. I want like homestead, farmstead, and where veganism is going, it's going downhill. It's going to rise for a bit, and people are going to start clicking and firing and realizing where it's going. And all the people who bashed myself, like bashed my name and bashed your name, like, and said, like this person's, like psychotic and mentally ill and blah, blah, blah. They're going to be the ones seeking advice from us.
It's
They're
already
going to be the
happening,
ones.
yeah.
There you go. And yeah, it's already happening. So I'm content because I know how good I feel. Like I actually feel my skin now. I feel my body. I can feel again. My mental clarity is so much better. Like I'm not in a constant brain fog and making a video, then pause, edit, repeat, pause, edit, repeat. It's like I can actually sit down and have a conversation with someone now.
Mm.
It's a lot easier. It's the way of life. It's the true way of life. Honestly, thank you for this interview. Thank you for talking. Thank you for everything.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, bro. I really appreciate it. Thank you.